Do you seek truth as passionately as you seek money, your hobby, the love of your life, or anything else? Shouldn't truth be what we seek more than anything? Of course it should be. Let's talk about it. Hey, this is Off the Cuff, and I'm Steve from TorahFamily.org. A while back, I did a teaching on the parable Yeshua gave on the 4 soils, simply titled, One Seed, 4 Soils. Now, right after Yeshua gives this parable in the book of Mark, we read this, Mark 4:21. And he said to them, Is a lamp brought in to be put under a basket or under a bed, and not on a stand? For nothing is hidden except to be made manifest, nor is anything secret except to come to light. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. And he said to them, Pay attention to what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. For the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. What in the world does that mean? One more time. Pay attention to what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. For to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. In other words, you get what you pay for. Pay attention. If you do, you will be blessed with more. But if you don't, even that which you have will be taken away from you. So, do you seek the truth, even if it hurts? I mean, what if the truth opposes your desires? Do you put your wants over truth? If you do, wouldn't that mean then that you make truth relative, thus making it no longer truth, but only something that applies in your life, well, when it's convenient for you? If you do, then even what you have will be taken away from you. In other words, the Father only blesses those with knowledge who sincerely seek it out. The measure you use, it will be measured to you. And remember, it's not just about knowing truth. It's about applying it. Let me say that again. It's not just about knowing truth. It's about applying it. And applying it in love. One who's on the hunt for truth doesn't try to find time to study. They make time to study. When you want something, you go for it. So how bad do you want it? How bad do you want His truth? As I've once heard it said, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. Just like we read in Matthew 13:44, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. He sold everything. Next verse, Matthew 13:45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Sold everything. What are you willing to get rid of to attain His truth? But just like Pilate asked here in John 18:38, what is truth? But it's that verse right before that so many overlook. John 18:37. You are a king then, said Pilate. Jesus answered, You are right in saying I am a king. In fact, for this reason I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. Yeshua came preaching and testifying to the Torah. So, if we reject his truth, we reject him. Oh, Steve, I don't reject Yeshua. Well, by your words, maybe not. But what about your actions? If you don't pursue obedience to his words, the truth, then you're rejecting him. Psalm 119, 160. The sum of your word is truth, and every one of your righteous rules endures forever. Now, back to Mark 4:21. Pay attention to what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. For to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. But again, it all starts with doing what you know. Obedience unlocks understanding. Purposefully not doing is rejecting, rebelling, and prevents further understanding from coming. And that's a scary thing. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from Yahweh should be our goal, to learn and grow deeper in our relationship with him. But if we don't respond to what he gives us, he stops giving and turns us off course from where we thought we were. Think of it this way. What if you gave the love of your life a gift you made just for them? If they didn't appreciate it and just sat it to the side, would you do it again? Most likely not. Likewise, if we don't see the value in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding he gives us from his word, why would he give us any more? We're completely disrespecting what he already gave us, just setting it to the side as if it's nothing of value. We then turn and make the things from this world more valuable to us. And they don't have to be sinful things, but they're things just the same. And how much worse if we take things that come straight from the enemy, more valuable to us. Things that we know Yeshua himself would have absolutely no part of. May we never mistake grace and mercy for tolerance and acceptance. Judgment will come on those who consistently reject his truth. Grace and mercy may be given now, but eventually the time will come to an end if you continually reject his truth for your life. Consider what we read in Proverbs chapter 1 regarding the words from wisdom. Proverbs chapter 1, starting in verse 23. If you had responded to my rebuke, I would have poured out my heart to you and made my thoughts known to you. What an awesome thought! To think he would pour his wisdom into us. But what happens when we don't respond accordingly? Let's continue reading. Verse 24. But since you rejected me when I called, and no one gave heed when I stretched out my hand, since you ignored all my advice and would not accept my rebuke. Now, let's stop here. Some could say, Steve, Yahweh has never spoke to me. He's never given me advice or rebuked me. Really? How did Yahweh speak and rebuke to King David when he sinned? Through a man, Nathan the prophet. How did Yahweh speak and rebuke King Saul when he sinned? He spoke to him through a man, Samuel the prophet. How did Yahweh speak to Balaam when he sinned? He spoke to him through a donkey. You may not hear his literal voice, but he makes it a point that you will hear his words through his servants or creation itself. And you know when he speaks. And it's in those times you have a choice to harden your heart and resist what you know the Spirit is saying to you at that time, thus doing all you can to justify your actions and attitudes to continue on the path you desire for your life. Or you can humble yourself and accept the path that Yahweh knows is best for you. So, your choice comes down to harden your heart or humble your heart. One of two paths. Take the path of Satan, who hardened his heart in pride and was kicked out of heaven. Or take the path of Yeshua, who humbled himself like that of a servant and sat down at the right hand of Yahweh. These are the only two choices in life you have. And it really comes down to trust. Do you trust that Yahweh has your best interest in mind? Let's continue reading and see what lies ahead for those who continually reject his words. Verse 26. I in turn will laugh at your disaster. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm. When disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind. When distress and trouble overwhelm you. Then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but will not find me, since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear Yahweh. Since they would not accept my advice and spurned my rebuke, they will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them. That means they were led astray and followed the simple, instead of setting the example for the simple. Continuing, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. This means they followed the complacency of fools. They let the fools of this world be their example to follow, and they pay the price for it. I encourage you to do a word study on the simple, and especially on fools, to see just who these people are. But we're given hope in verse 33. It says, but whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. It's at this time I believe it would be wise to consider what we find in Hosea 4:6. Hosea 4:6 says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Now the verse continues on with many things, but let's focus on this just here. The problem is, just like with Adam and Eve, too many are choosing the wrong knowledge, justifying worldly knowledge over a relationship with Yahweh, a worldly knowledge and a lifestyle over a relationship with the one who knows us best and knows what's best for us. Remember, the crowd chose Barabbas over Yeshua not because they wanted Barabbas, but because they hated the truth. You may say, oh, Steve, I don't hate the truth. But if you aren't choosing to walk in his truth, that which he gave for our benefit, then our actions are showing our hate for truth. And all too often, I've seen so many place the value of their own opinions or opinions they've heard over the Scriptures. Thus, what we read earlier. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them, which is the problem with many influencers today. I can't help but think of Proverbs 18:2. A fool finds no pleasure in understanding, but delights in airing his own opinions. And this is talking about biblical understanding, not man's understanding. We must understand the morals and standards of this world follow a compass that's not set to true north. They follow a compass that will lead you into the vast open sea, filled with empty promises, but only leading you into storms that will sink you down to the cold, dark depths of despair. Why? Because they oppose the knowledge of Yahweh. But as 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. We have to take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. We have to. don't entertain anything that opposes what the word of Yahweh declares. You see, a lot of people don't want the truth. Why? Because the truth opposes their desires. It opposes the lifestyle they want to lead. It boils down to them ultimately not being willing to trust what Yahweh gives us is truly best for us, even if it means giving something up. So, what do? They try to influence others to join them. You see, they don't care about you. They just want pats on the back to make them feel better about themselves. In doing so, they only spread their justified rebellion to others around the world. But truth isn't given to make us feel good. It's given for our good. And it's only when we submit to it that we find true joy. The joy and fulfillment that others seek in so many ways, all the while ignoring and rebelling against the very source of where it comes from. Like I said earlier, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. As Yeshua said, pay attention to what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. For to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Set your compass to true north today in seeking his truth, the only truth. Make the hunt for truth grow to a whole new level starting right now. When you do, he'll show you things you've never seen before. Well, that's all I have. Think about it. Pray about it. But more than anything, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Until next time, Shalom.